Hark, kindred spirits, and welcome once more to the hallowed halls of Tenacious grasp on reality. I am your humble guide, and it is with profound delight that I bid you enter this sacred space of learning. In this installment of our ongoing series, Whispers from the Veil, an Esoteric Curriculum, we shall traverse the luminous pathways of the mind and spirit. We embark upon a journey to unravel a concept most central to the great work, the sublime art of crafting intent, the philosophy of spells and ritual. So often, the uninitiated perceive a spell as a mere recitation of antiquated words, a theatrical flourish of gestures. They see the ritual as a collection of curious objects arranged in a peculiar fashion. But to us, the seekers of deeper truths, these are but the outward vessels. The true power, the very essence that breathes life into these forms, is the practitioner's intent. It is the arrow, carefully fletched with focus and desire, loosed from the bow of the will. Pray, let us cast our minds back through the mists of antiquity. In the shadow of the great pyramids, the Egyptian priests and priestesses understood this principle intimately. Their complex ceremonies, replete with incantations to deities like Thoth and Isis, were not simple pleas. Each hieroglyph carved, each offering presented, was a physical manifestation of a meticulously crafted intention. They believed that to speak a thing with focused will was to begin its manifestation upon the material plane. This is the root of the concept of Heka, the divine energy or magic that animated the cosmos, which could be directed by the focused mind and spoken word. The spell was the vehicle, but Heka, directed by intent, was the force that moved it. This philosophy is not confined to the sands of Egypt. Journey with me to the Hellenistic world, where the Neoplatonists, such as Iamblichus, spoke of theurgy, or divine work. Theurgy was not about compelling the gods to do one's bidding, but rather about purifying the soul and aligning one's own will with the divine will. The rituals, involving sympathies and correspondences between minerals, plants, and celestial bodies, were designed to elevate the practitioner's consciousness. The intent was one of spiritual ascent and unification. The spell, in this context, becomes a meditative act, a focusing lens to align the microcosm of the self with the macrocosm of the universe. So, what is intent in its purest form? It is more than a simple wish or a fleeting desire. A wish is a passive sigh, a hopeful glance toward the heavens. Intent is an act of creation. It is a focused, unwavering and emotionally charged declaration of a desired reality. It is the process of gathering all your mental and emotional energy, your focus, your belief, your passion, and compressing it into a singular, crystalline point of purpose. Imagine a ray of sunlight, diffuse and gentle. Now imagine a magnifying glass, focusing that light into a single, searing point capable of starting a fire. Your mind is the lens, and your will is the sunlight. Your intent is that point of fire. Let us consider the anatomy of a spell. First, there is the goal, the desired outcome. This must be clear, concise, and articulated with absolute precision. Vague intentions yield vague or even chaotic results. Instead of, "I want more money," a crafted intent might be, "I open myself to new and unexpected channels of abundance and opportunity, sufficient to meet my needs and secure my comfort." See the difference? The latter is an active, positive statement of becoming, not a passive statement of lack. Next, we must infuse this goal with emotion. Emotion is the fuel that powers the engine of manifestation. The joy you will feel upon achieving your goal, the gratitude for its arrival, the certainty of its reality. These are not to be felt after the spell is cast, but during its creation. You must inhabit the reality of your success in the present moment. This is a profound act of alchemy, transmuting the leaden weight of I want into the golden reality of I am, or it is. This brings us to the ritual itself. The candles, the herbs, the crystals, the chants, these are not arbitrary stage props. They are mnemonic devices, symbolic anchors for your intent. Each element is chosen for its correspondence, its symbolic resonance with your goal. A green candle for prosperity, rose quartz for love, rosemary for clarity. These objects serve to constantly remind and reinforce the practitioner's focus. The act of lighting the candle is not merely striking a match. It is the symbolic act of igniting your will in the darkness. The chanting of an incantation is not just speaking, it is vibrating your intent into the very fabric of existence. The ritual creates a liminal space, a temple of the mind where the mundane world fades and the focused will reign supreme. Let us not be mistaken, this requires discipline. The mind is a wandering creature, prone to distraction and doubt. Doubt is the great corrosive, the water that douses the fire of intent. Therefore, much of the training of a practitioner is not in memorizing long-forgotten words, but in mastering the self. It is the practice of meditation, of visualization, of stilling the ceaseless chatter of the mundane mind so that the clear bell-like tone of true intent can ring out, unimpeded. Throughout history, from the Hermetic axiom, as above, so below, to the modern understanding of the observer effect in quantum physics, we see echoes of this great truth. Consciousness is not a passive observer of reality, but an active participant in its creation. A spell is the ultimate expression of this principle. It is a conscious, deliberate, and artful act of co-creation with the universe. It is a declaration that you are not merely a leaf tossed upon the winds of fate, but a potent and sovereign being with the power to chart your own course. Therefore, as you approach your own practice, remember this. Look beyond the grimoires and the tools. The greatest tool you will ever possess is your own focused, disciplined, and impassioned mind. Before you light the candle, light the fire of belief within your heart. Before you speak the words, articulate the unwavering certainty of your goal in the silent temple of your soul. For the spell is but the ship, and the ritual, the map. But your intent, pure, powerful, and perfectly crafted, is the wind that will carry you to the shores of your desired reality. Thank you for joining me in this exploration. May your will be sharp and your heart be true. I encourage you to delve deeper into the wonders we discuss here on Tenacious Grasp on Reality. If this discourse has illuminated your path, I humbly ask that you subscribe and join our community of seekers. Until we meet again, walk in wisdom and in light.